Welcome, everybody, to Pragmatic Magic University. Very grateful for your enrollment. Um, Excited to explore today. So we put a little poll in the Telegram thread. Please keep your eyeballs on the Telegram thread so that you can kind of weigh in on what you want to talk about too when we put those questions in. Sometimes things pop and sometimes it's like, hey, what do the people want to talk about? Fur, did you do it that voice when I said that? What do the people want to talk about? No? Okay, I was just curious. You did? Okay. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the tool of light and heavy. I tossed to Kate, I was like, hey, will you play with me today? And these are all the things people are saying in the Telegram thread. And she said, let's go with light and heavy. It's such a foundational tool. I do get that we'll have light and heavy come as a recurring theme up until we're done with this creation in January, because it is one that requires the muscle. Like, it is a muscle one. And I've started to work out, and it's so funny because it's like, I know I have muscles. I know they lift things all the time. And so it's like the first acknowledgement is I am not a bag of bones lifting weights. I am someone who has muscles, who just wants to grow them and make them more strong. So let's start, before Kate jumps in as the lead here. Let's just start with acknowledging that you have muscles. You actually do know about light and heavy, whether it seems so foreign and so beyond you, or you keep fucking it up, or whatever your point of view is about light and heavy. Let's destroy and uncreate everywhere you've decided you don't get it, everywhere you've decided it's separate from you, everywhere you decided that that is a tool for those people. Let's destroy and uncreate that, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, poveds. Do I want to do creations or bases? Do I want to change that? Creations, bases, and beyonds. I was fighting it, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. So anyways, Kate, take it away. What questions do you want to lead us into with light and heavy?
Well, first of all, I just love that we got to walk through real time with you on the clearing statement. How do I want to do it this time? Um, yeah, well, part of what I love about this with light and heavy and bringing it up today, and I know we've teased about it a little bit along the way, and we've teased about it sometimes during greeting and also on some of the calls, but this I was going to say the word impetus, and I don't know how often I've ever used that word, but also inspiration. That the title of this 6-week program was originally going to be Light and Heavy University, because it is such a foundational tool and because it is one that people can do really interesting things with. Like, there's so many different interpretations on how to play with it or to feel like we don't get it. And then if we feel like we don't get it, then it affects a lot of other tools, because a lot of the other tools are asking for your awareness around the energy around something. So then it's like, then everything feels like it's getting fucked up. So for our brand new people who might be on here who have never played with light and heavy before, what would be your first invitation of what actually the light and heavy tool is?
Cool. Let's just all be brand new people right now. How about that? Okay.
I love
Because
it.
again, that's where we turn our ears off, our listening capacities, because we're like, oh, I get this, or I get this enough, or so we stop taking in new information. So everywhere you're not a brand new person today, creating whatever today is, whatever adventure today holds, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay. So the way Access describes the light heavy tool is that whatever's true for you makes you lighter, and whatever's a lie will make you heavy. And what happens a lot is it's where like the tools collide that get us a little conjumbled. I don't know, confused. That's a better word for translation. Confused. Okay. Basically, you from oh wow, there's so they all just collided to, and I'm like seeing the car, you know, when you watch a car accident and cars are swerving and they're trying to avoid colliding. That's what I'm seeing in my head. Okay, so you grow up with these thing called parents. Oftentimes we have parents, and your parents' job is to download all of their points of view of right, wrong, good, and bad. I'm going to do my best to make this so like kindergarten, like so elementary that you can't help but get it today. Okay. So here comes little Johnny over here, maybe little Julie over here. I don't know, right? They're born and they haven't taken a point of view yet. They're like, hi, world. Okay. And mommy and daddy are like so in love with them. Often, sometimes not. Like, I know that's someone's story. And if it's not your story, I'm sorry, I want to give you a hug. But most times parents are so excited to greet you, little Johnny. And what they want to do is protect little Johnny. So they start to teach little Johnny about the world. Well, what do they use to teach little Johnny? They use all of their points of view. This is right, little Johnny. This is wrong. This is good, little Johnny. This will get you in trouble. This is bad. Here's what happened to me when I was a little kid and I wanted to run in the halls at school. So don't ever run in the halls at school, because I fell down once in 1945 and and I hurt my knee, and I don't want your knee to get hurt. So here's my story about why you shouldn't do that. Okay, so little Johnny goes, don't hurt my knee, don't run, don't have fun in the hallways. Okay, whatever. So you get it. So like going on, and then the conversations like get more intense, right? Because you're getting older. Little Johnny's getting older, and he's growing, and he's experiencing the world, and he's choosing things that are working or not working. And but mommy and daddy are constantly trying to narrow his path into right, wrong, good, and bad, so that to them it keeps him safe, and not just safe from like bodily harm, but safe from judgment. But isn't it funny that we use judgment to stay safe from judgment? Anybody else think that's hilarious? It's like, hey, here's my judgment that'll keep you away from their judgment. Okay. So like, so we get all these downloads. And so then we think we are a compilation. We think that the points of view that have been downloaded into our worlds that most likely aren't even ours, are who we are. So we go out in the world and we defend those points of view. And from those points of view, you create your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections, otherwise known in access consciousness as PES juniors. So you project how something should be, you expect of how it shouldn't be, you reject if it's gonna not be. Like you have all of your, walls and barriers up of your PES juniors, and you kind of go through the world with that. Okay, where does light and heavy come in? Great question. I'm going to tell you. Your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections now project onto anything that you are asking for, asking to change. You have the right and the wrong that created your projection of what it should be, creating what you think is your awareness. So you ask a question, but your question is coming from often a point of view, those things that mommy and daddy downloaded in you and that you picked up along the way from the world around you. You birth the question from the point of view of what you want the outcome to be. Is everybody following? Have I hurt anybody's brains yet? I hope I have. I hope I've hurt all your brains. I hope they're getting stretch marks. Okay, so your compilation of points of view, you walk through the world with your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections. Then you find access, you use a tool, you ask a question. What would it take for this to show up? You immediately go, it would take something I'm not willing to receive. It would take something that's not possible to happen to me. It would take me not being me. So you have the readout of what you get it would take, if that's your question. And you've made those things right. So when you go, you say, like, you play with the light and heavy tool, anytime that you have something right that matches your PES juniors, it can easily confuse you to being light. Because if what it would take is for, if you want a new car and what it would take is for you to back your car into a pole, you're not going to be willing to perceive that that's what it would take, because it doesn't match the right way it should show up, which is, someone knocking on your front door and being like, here's the keys to my car, I don't want it anymore, right? So because backing a pole's wrong, and you just getting the money in your bank account tomorrow is right, or more likely you having to save up for 2 years to get the car you want because the only way that you're willing to have it is if you work really hard and you deserve it, right? Anything else that the universe would have for you that is actually the lightness of possibility, you can't allow into your awareness because it is not right. Am I breaking this down enough, Kate? Like, is this working? Okay.
Yes.
So the thing with light and heavy is light is not right, heavy is not wrong. You just have to ask more questions. A story I like, well, I have a few stories I like to tell this. The one that I will tell right now is years ago, I had a really good friend who was doing access, and we were putting on a body class. I was hosting, and she had said for years she wanted to come to a body class. And the flight for her to get there was not that far. And so I was like, oh my gosh, are you coming? And she's like, no, I can't right now because money. And I was like, I'll buy your flight. And she's like, yeah, but I don't have a place to stay. And I was like, oh my God, you could stay with us. No charge. And she's like, yeah, but I don't remember what the next thing was, something. And then, so I figured out a way about that. And then I was like, okay, so are you coming? She goes, yeah, it's just not light right now. Every time I ask, it's super heavy. And it was so interesting because I was like, okay, what question did you ask after you perceived the heavy? She's like, if it was heavy, it was done and wrong, and it was put on the shelf. And she concluded heavy is don't do it. Heavy is don't go. Heavy is it's so heavy, it's wrong. I can't choose it. And that was so fascinating to me. And that is really the like my choice to start and get engaging. What do I actually know about this light and heavy thing? And what I saw there is that as soon as it was heavy, there weren't any more questions because heavy was wrong and you had to push it out. And light and heavy doesn't have a judgment attached to it. It's your awareness of an energy. And so when it's heavy, it's because there's a lie there. So I was like, what is the lie? And I was like, oh, maybe she had the money the whole time. Maybe she never wanted to come to a body class. You know what I mean? Like maybe, but like she's aware of her own lie that she had been telling. Maybe she didn't want to be my friend. I don't know. Whatever. But what was wild was how I saw into her world where she had been using this tool through judgment. And if you pull judgment out of it and you just go into, because it's so funny because you're like, what lights you up is true for you, and then what's heavy is a lie. Isn't it funny that if you perceive your own judgment of yourself, like I don't have money, I'm shitty with money, or I can't create anything, or I suck at relationship, or my body is ugly, right? You go, how do I fix it? Instead of going, wait, is there a lie here? Did that light me up to say that? Or am I lying to myself? Right? Because because it could be that you have truth with a lie attached, which is, hey, so you might not like your body right now. It doesn't mean that your body's wrong. It might mean you have points of view about your body. It might be that your body's requiring something that you're not giving it, or you're not tapped into. Okay, cool. But if you go, I'm ugly and fat and I hate my body, and that doesn't light you up, then there's more questions to ask, not a conclusion that that's just how it is, or now you have to fix the wrongness of you. It's like, oh, I've been saying that to myself for so many years. Why am I saying that to myself? It doesn't light me up. And you start to change your internal dialogue with it too. And the playfulness of this tool, well, it should be that. It should be playfulness. It should be, oh, weird. I perceive something heavy. That doesn't mean anything. What's the lie? Oh, weird. Oh, that lightened it up as soon as I asked what the lie is. I didn't even have to find the lie. I could just ask that question and go, okay, where's the lightness? And then allow yourself to navigate with your awareness from perceiving those different, the high, the light and the heavy energies. Okay, I've been talking a lot.
Okay. Oh, this is great. This is so great. And like since we're in school, when you go through a textbook and then you get that through like to the end of the chapter and it has like the highlights and like the key points. So we're going to do a moment of that, of like walking through everything that we just went through was so fucking awesome. And part of what you help distinguish for me right now is that growing up, how much the paradigm of engaging with the world is through mind, is through logic, is through projecting, predicting, expecting, like all of those calculations. And they happen so quickly that it can feel like that's just the way to engage with the world. And the difference of that interface and light and heavy is asking for the awareness of energies around things, which don't have a judgment attached. So whether it's light or whether it's heavy or it has some other energies doesn't actually mean anything with right or wrong or any sort of spectrum of polarity. It's just like clues for you to then be able to ask more questions and look at what you would like to choose.
Yeah, can I throw something in there? When I was a
Yeah.
little kid for Easter, my parents would do Easter egg hunts. And if you waited and played victim and a little kid long enough, they would give you hot and cold um clues. So you would walk over here and they would be like, you're getting really hot. And then you'd start looking, right? Or they'd be like warm, or you go over here and they're like, oh, you're so cold. So then you would walk away from it. So if you look at light and heavy as hot and cold, rather than um, the judgment we attach as right and wrong, that might be a better clue as to how to use this tool. It's like, oh, I'm going this way. Oh, wow, everything just collapsed and I got really heavy. Okay, cool. What's over here? Maybe that's not ready to open yet. Not that that is wrong. It could be light in 5 minutes as soon as I explore what's over here. Okay. That popped in and I don't think I've ever used that analogy before, so I had to get it out of my mouth. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I love it. I love that so much. I also really loved playing that game as a kid too. It was so fun. um, there is another story that I've heard you tell before that I'm wondering if you would share it, or another example that plays with this that I think is a great way of walking through when something is light but isn't necessarily good, to give people that energy as well.
Yeah. So I owned a hair salon in Los Angeles for like 15 years, and I had two different business partners. The first business partner, uh, she, she just she was probably heavy from the beginning, but I didn't ask a question because again, my projection was I started working at the salon. So a little funny story, right? Is like I started working at the salon. I always wanted to own my own salon. This one had a prime location. I perceived friction between the owners and I was like, what is that? And then I had been really upfront with them going like, hey, I'm only going to work here for a little bit and then I'm going to go open my own place. And so as that friction grew, one of them who was playing the nice guy came up to me and was like, I'm the victim to the other one and she wants to leave and I don't know if I can be an owner by myself. Will you come on as my owner? And I was like, oh, this poor victim, of course. Asked no questions. So soon enough, I became her next victim. um, so years into owning the salon, basically like short story is the accounts weren't balancing and it was so weird and random. It would be at random times, random amounts. I was like, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, maybe someone didn't ring in something. Okay. And like kind of brush it off. And then the amount started to like grow consistently. Right. And I was like, what is this? And I kept asking her and she would just like be not really nonchalant about it, whatever. Like it was no big deal. And then when I kind of like got more direct and like kind of pulled her in and was like, hey, we have to do something about this. Someone here is stealing. Like, there's no way. Like, I've looked at every which possibility. And then she immediately started to point the finger at somebody who worked for me that like I knew wholeheartedly this person would not steal. And so I was like, that's weird, right? So as you probably can already tell, it came out that it was her stealing. She had been doing the bank deposits and taking money off the top when she went to deposit. Now, uncovering that, that's not fun, right? That sucks that your business partner is stealing, but getting to the truth, super light. Okay. So it wasn't the news that I wanted. It wasn't the news that I was projecting or even expecting, to be honest with you. But there was no denying how light it was and how like free I felt when I finally had like kind of the proof, if you will, or like the lie untold. So you can look at that for yourself anytime that you've uncovered a lie. something about you, something about someone else, something that you were buying into and you realize were like, whoa, that was never true. And you got the lightness. Use that as like your clue of how to be with something that is light but not right. And that can give you more information about what you actually do know about this tool. Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so great. I remember when I was in high school and I had a moment like that where I suddenly realized there was all this drama happening with like a relationship with a friend and the guy that she was dating or whatever. And the guy had reached out to me to give me some information about something. And I was like, why would he do that? That's so weird. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, because he's already going to break up with her. And all of a sudden it just like clicked, but like that wasn't good information. Like it was going to create even more of a shitstorm of drama. But that moment of just like truth was like, oh, and just pew. So anyway, I love that as an example. So one thing that I think is really fascinating with the light and heavy tool is everybody experiences light and heavy a little bit different. It's like a different accent or dialect or flavor or whatever. So, I don't know if you have like activities or questions or something to offer people for them to like start flexing their muscles and perceiving what that is for them.
So fucking good that you asked. I fucking love this that you asked that question. So I'm gonna have people turn on specific, like, I feel like we all have multiple layers of eardrums. So when you don't want to hear somebody, you like close them all down. And then when it's somebody you like, you open it up a little bit more, right? Okay. So the layer of eardrum that I would like to hit with this is anywhere you're a leader, fucking anywhere you're a leader, even if you don't like lead in a business, if you're a leader in your family, if you're a leader in your relationship, if you're a leader with friends, I don't know, maybe a leader in your own life, but okay. Anybody who's a parent, um, those might be the two layers that I'm aware of, like need to hear what I'm about to say. If you want to learn more about light and heavy, you've got to include all people's light and heavy, even if they're coming from conclusion. I'm just going to sit like as if we froze so that it gets in. Okay, hold on. Okay. I'll move my eyes though. It didn't count. Okay. So one question that you have got to put in on the tip of your tongue that you ask always is, what are you aware of? Okay. Because especially if you're a leader in any form, a lot of times, the final decision of something falls on you, whether that's parenting or business or whatever, it falls on you. And you have your awareness. So if you're following your awareness, but you're wanting to include everybody, people support what they help to create. If you encourage people to share their awareness that guides the bus, whether it's a child, a business partner, a lover, a team that you lead, you include all of that. Hey, what are you aware of? Because if people know that they can share their awareness that might be different than yours, they will feel heard, they will feel seen, they will support what's getting created, even if you don't choose it. Okay. But what happens is we have such strong projections, expectations, and we think that we are leading because those are so strong that we are willing to go. Right. And so because our projections, expectations, how it should be, how it needs to turn out, how to not fail, how to only succeed, like all of these things, like we think that that's what got us in the leader position. And so this reality teaches you that if you're in leading, your awareness is the most valuable one and the only one. So to circle around your question, Kate, like when everybody has different awarenesses, like what do you do? Well, there needs to be someone who's willing to lead for sure. But someone else having a different awareness than you is a fucking gift, like a huge gift. I'm going to pause again so that gets in. Okay. So, right. So because I might go, oh, the grass is green and we are going to go play in it. And someone else is like, hey, that's really heavy for me. And I go, hey, what are you aware of? And they go, well, if you look past the grass, there's like a sinkhole we could all fall in. Grateful for your awareness. Thank you. And other times it's like, okay, what are you aware of? And they go, I don't know. I don't like the color green. And I'm like, okay, then don't play on the grass. It's fine. But having people be received and for their awareness, it can contribute to you so dynamically that we are cutting off the gift that we can be for each other when we, again, have our awareness have to be right. Try to navigate it through judgment. Your awareness is your awareness, and it can be different than anybody else's. But if you start making the demand to include someone else's, you'll include yours even more. Okay. Because you'll be able to see the different flavors of how it all comes together, of everybody having a different awareness about something, and know that yours doesn't have to match theirs and theirs doesn't have to match yours. They all get to come together and create. Um, Another story that I'll share, a lot of you may have heard it on, I did a live with Dane about it, and it's been in my parenting classes and such, about including your children's awareness. So years ago, my daughter, who's now 16, she was about 3 years old, 2, 3 years old. And we had just moved into a new house. And the very first day that we leave the house to go get on the freeway to go to where I worked and drop her off at daycare. We were leaving and she started screaming when I went to get on the freeway. She was like, "No, mama, no go, no go, mama." Like, and I was like, okay. And I have made a demand to like listen with my kids. And so I didn't get on the freeway. I was like, okay, well, where do you want to go? And she just started pointing. So anytime we take a stop, I would be like, which way? And she would point and she would point. She wasn't super verbal. Like she didn't talk a lot yet. Just point, point, point. Okay. She found me a new entrance to the freeway. I was like, I didn't even know this was here. I just moved to this area. There we are. So I was like, thank you. Can I get on now? And she's like, yes. So I get on, and it's a Saturday morning, and no, it was a Friday morning. Sorry, because it was like super trafficy time. I get on the freeway and it is empty. Now in Los Angeles, that is not a thing unless the apocalypse happened, and it hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, what is COVID? It happened during COVID. You did get on the freeway and there was nobody. But anyway, so getting on the freeway, and I was like, this is so weird. This is one of the like most busy freeways in Los Angeles. So I get on, I'm like, what? And I look in my rearview mirror, and there is a 4-car pileup with fatalities, I find out later, that had just happened. That either, I was saying this before I told Dane on a live, either I missed the traffic of that, or I wasn't in that because I was willing to listen to someone else, even a 2.5-year-old's awareness. Okay. The more you're willing to receive others, again, the more you'll be willing to receive your own and not have to determine it by right, wrong, good, or bad. So to tie this with a bow, please tell me what you're aware of. What are you aware of on your say all the time list, if you have one of those? Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow. So that was like, when you think you're asking a question and then it goes to like so much deeper, like the potency and the invitation, but I don't even have the words for it, because it's having your own back of like acknowledging your own awareness. But there's also this invitation to invite people to their awareness and share their awareness and know that they're included in that. And then also still being a leader in your life of like, okay, cool. Like, does it work to choose along with what they're aware of? Or, is that information just useful in another way? For the people who maybe still turned their ears off or aren't like willing to acknowledge and identify themselves yet as leaders or parents, how did you start playing with the light and heavy tool to like get to know what lightness feels like to you and what heavy doesn't? Like, did you start with little things, or were there moments that just started to show you and you like started to put pins in it?
Yeah, I think I just got curious, to be honest with you, because as a lot of you can tell, like the tools for so long, which is why I'm so excited to be here doing what we're doing leading up to the foundation class, because I had access to Dane the whole time, right? Dane's my brother. So I had access to somebody who could absolutely have my back with it. But the tools seemed so like I wasn't getting it. And I was using it so to judge myself, like so dynamically. And part of that was because I was trying to be like Dane with the tools or be like someone else with the tools. And so I wasn't asking the questions that like my little curious brain would ask, because I was trying to fit myself into doing it like someone else. So with regards to this specifically, I think it might have been like that situation with that friend was so wild to me. And it got me because I could perceive her world going like this. Like she'd been sitting on the fence for access classes for like going, but not really going. And, I'm going to stay over here and just do bars. And, um, and here this was this opportunity that where she, whatever, I said the story. And my curiosity is what I wanted to actually answer this with. Like, so all the curiosity, all the childlike wonder that you've had that you don't seem to have access anymore, that is still there. Would you allow yourself to get curious? Because that watching somebody not choose that made me so curious, not judgmental. Like I wasn't judging her. I was just like, what is that? She is absolutely like, I've heard this thing where people use the tools against themselves. I was like, and this was something I really cared about and care about now. And I saw as really, really potent. Like all the things that I saw, I was like, okay, what is it I'm not seeing? Or what is it that she's not seeing about herself that I can see? Cause I'd like to, because we all judge ourselves, right? But that curiosity started to have me ask different questions that were kind of off book, like, so what is light and heavy? You know what I mean? And where am I using it to stop myself from possibilities like this? And then little by little, if you continue to ask, that's that muscle we talked about in the beginning. It's like I just started building the muscle. One indicator for me became force. Like, so with energies, like if there's something that comes up that I perceive is like heavy, I can either force by it, because we're all taught. I don't know if we put that video up on social about my workout the other day, but I push and force by my limitations. That's what the world tells you. Like, keep going, push past, you got it, be stronger than it, like all of these things, right? So you're like, rawr, I'm going to push myself past that. But then I was like, oh, I think 2 years ago, I asked it like for New Year's, I always like, oh, this is like, this year I'm going to, choose this or what it's not a resolution as much as it's like a demand or whatever, an ask. And I was like, I'm going to live without force. Like I'm going to stop forcing because I know I'm pushing past the magic of the universe. So with light and heavy, it's like, as soon as I perceive that I'm going to like, there's something up, I want to overcome it. I take a beat and I started just taking a beat and perceiving all the energies over here. I'm like, okay, this is heavy. I can push and force, or I can go, hey, is this actually, so watch this, guys. There's a roadblock in the way that you've decided with your projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections. You're going down this path and you hit a roadblock. Okay, what is that? Like you lose your job, you miss your flight, your lover breaks up with you, you like whatever, right? You get some bad news along your perfect manicured path. You go, I'm going to get through this, right? So even the vernacular, the words we use is getting through it. What if the universe put it there so you'd go this way? What if the universe put it there because over there is the magic and miracles you've been asking for and it's time for you to receive them? But you're so committed to your projections and expectations that you're going to fight this, you're going to figure out how to drive through the bottom of this mountain, rather than just going, okay, what is this? And if I don't make it wrong and I just perceive it's heavy to go this way now, I can follow the lightness to what is actually for me. And that has a sense of like vulnerability, relaxation, and trust that we're not taught to have when mommy and daddy are programming us with their points of view. My battery might die. Okay. I'm going to pause while you respond and go get it back. Oh no, it's right here. I'm so magical.
That's amazing.
I got scared.
No, I love that so much because again, like if heaviness isn't wrong and it's just a clue to like grab your attention and give you information and ask more questions, then you can just like flow and move. I don't know. It's just really, really beautiful what opens up when you step out of polarity with light and heavy. Um, so I think my final piece, because I don't know how long you wanted to go today, is do you have any question or tool or like home play that you want to send people off with today until our next call?
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that pops is not, say, an access quoted tool, but with any tool, and especially with light and heavy, like what if you asked to add your curiosity? Like what I started you guys off on purpose with if I know not this. And I know that, maybe some used it, some didn't, some used it when something bad was happening, like whatever. You'll use the tools how you want to use the tools, and I absolutely honor that. But it's kind of along the same vein. It's like instead of, for me, I put light and heavy like on a shelf for years. I was like, not going to talk about that one in my classes, going to skip right over it as much as I can. It's not my thing. I don't understand it. And then it was time to take it off the shelf. Not wrong. It just wasn't time for me. So now I know that if something comes into my world and I'm just like, huh, like what is Dane and Gary talking about? What is this thing? What it? Instead of backing away with my huh, I lean in with my curiosity. I lean in with my what do I know about this that I'm pretending not to know? Um, and with this one, like if light and heavy, just for this next 3 days, if you dare, what if you made it hot and cold? Like, okay, am I getting closer to possibility? Are things opening up? Or am I just happen to be going the opposite way and things are kind of shrinking down? It's not that going that way is wrong. If you're going that way, I mean, who doesn't love an ice cold latte? I love it. I like ice. Cold is not wrong, right? And then sometimes I want my drink like piping hot. So if you take the judgment out of that, it's like I enjoy both things. I'm going this way. I'm gathering information when I'm going that way. So then go, okay, cool, it's cold. Huh. What awareness am I getting in this cold area that will contribute? Because maybe some people don't even want to go to the hot. I don't know. But like again, if there's no judgment, it's just the meandering path of consciousness, and you get to play and remind yourself too, you've learned probably the most by your biggest failures. You've gotten the most awareness when your face splatted on the floor or your pants came down in front of a crowd. Like you knew, start wearing belts. Like you knew that, okay? Like you were never going to leave the house without a belt. Belts hold your pants up. You're never going to be embarrassed again, right? You got the information the moment that something didn't work out. Whereas it's funny that when you get it right, you can sink your heels in and go, I'm going to stay here and never change because it feels so yummy to get it right. Or you go, it could have been better, and you start judging the rightness even. It's so wild. So if we can just commit to, what if there was no right and wrong? What if this is just my navigational system of like, when your navigation in the car is like, please make a U-turn, please make a U-turn, you're going the wrong way, please make a U-turn. I said wrong, I didn't mean to do that. You're going the opposite direction, please make a U-turn, right? And you go, okay, and you turn. Like, what if it were that easy? What if it could be that easy? And what if you added your curiosity to it to uncover what you know that I can't even speak to because you know something I don't know? That's the beauty of these tools as well. And a huge part of what we'll explore in Foundation, if you guys want to join us, is how to make these tools come alive for you. Like, who are you with these tools? And how magical will your life be when you start to acknowledge that they are there to support you to get more of you, not to get you better at the tools. I don't know if that's sinking yet, but a lot of like, I know we're on a university right now, but like a lot of, say, higher learning, look at the agenda, is to put out the top students with their emblem on it, right? Like if you go to Harvard, you wear a big H and you tell everybody on your wall that you went to Harvard, and then Harvard gets to take credit. It's like, what's that word? Credit for outputting you into the world through their system of learning. Okay. That's not how it is with access. It's not about the tools. It's about you getting to you through the tools and the gift that you get to be to the world when you use them and you have more of you. Okay. So that's my commitment. And yeah, if you guys have any questions after this, please pop them into the Telegram chat. I'm being a grown up and doing my best to be in Telegram. Look at me. It's a new, I turned over a new leaf. I've been allergic to Telegram, but I took my conscious antibiotics or Benadryl, and I am now on scene. So, as she
We're
said,
gonna get you a Telegram certification or
yes,
like diploma.
I want a big T on my chest, please. Anyways, you're so welcome, a beer. So, shall we end there? Do you have more?
I just want to say thank you because again, it's that thing of like it doesn't matter how long that you've been playing with any tool, it always opens up into more. And every single conversation and exploration that we have is like, oh fuck, like there's another thing that I hadn't really looked at before. And that constant invitation to like, what do you know about this? That it's not about duplicating the tools like other people are doing them, but the tools are an invitation of what do I really know? And even just now you showed me that I still have I don't know what the thing is that I want, a residue or something of even if I'm not doing it compared to other people, for myself, the thing of doing the tools better instead of just what do I know about the tools? I don't, it's like, it's kind of a nuance, but you really just showed me. I'm like, fuck, the academic stuff is still running. Like, I want to come out of PMU and like represent.
She's like, I'd like a 4.0 in the tools, please. Straight A's.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You get a 4.0 just by showing up. That's all it takes. Just show up. Like, and don't make the tools more serious than like you being like, don't like the tools don't, they assist you. They're not there to determine you, you know, or define you, or says the person who avoided them for 15 years because they figured they would never get it right and really liked being right. So anyways, okay guys, I have to go cut. Dr. Dane's here. He's actually messaging me right now. I adore you all very, very much, and I will get another date in there very soon. This week. I gotta fly back to LA, and then I will find us a date before then though. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Hugs and kisses. See you all somewhere soon. Bye. Thanks for translating.